Welcome to day 292 of our DeSo journey. I'm Ed Krasenstein here with my twin brother Brian, and we have a special guest Salil Sethi today. This is I think your second or third time on our show. Remember, these videos are sponsored by CloutFeed, and CloutFeed's doing some awesome things. I know they have a huge announcement coming up. We're all excited about that. So OpenProsper, today is the official launch of OpenProsper, a project that Salil has been working on for months and months. You know, it's formerly ProsperClout. Are you excited about this, Salil?
Oh, super excited. Yeah, thank you for having me, guys. It is my second time on the show. So love everything you're doing. So super happy to be here. And as you just mentioned, it's ProsperClout, it's rebranding. So two things are happening today. One, we are rebranding ProsperClout to OpenProsper. And then number two is it's a completely reworked UI and backend. And we can, go into detail towards the backend of the show.
Yeah, like I checked it out. There's so much to talk about. I just love it. Let's get to the news and then we'll circle back and then talk about OpenProsper, which is amazing.
Yeah, just one more thing before we get in. So CloutFeed, I know they're sponsoring the video. Last night, just quickly, I ran numbers. So CloutFeed was the most active node posting. This is like around midnight. So about 40% of all posts were coming from CloutFeed last night. BitClout was number 2. So just full context, DiamondApp doesn't provide that metadata, so we don't know where it would stand. But yeah, it's one of the most used nodes to post on DeSo.
I use it. I use it every day.
Same, me too. Yeah.
Great job, Rabal and CloutFeed.
Yeah,
doing a great job. So yesterday, DeSo announced that they're teaming with Major League Hacking as their official Web3 sponsor for the 2022 Hackathon League season, as well as the local hack days. So this is exciting because Major League Hacking is a huge hacking, I guess you could say, not organization, I don't know what you call it, but they had every year there's 120,000 plus students, 8,000 plus projects, over 200 hackathons, and these take place in 16 different countries. So I think that's awesome. It's going to expose all these college students who are majoring in computer science, computer engineering, and whatnot to DeSo and to Web3 and this blockchain. What are your thoughts on that? You think that's going to help boost development on the platform, Salil?
Absolutely, right. And now you have, we have what, 3,000-4,000 daily active, and now you're exposing the protocol to so many more people. And I see two big things coming out of it. One, I think there'll be a lot more people trying different things, like things that we haven't even considered, right? So I think that is amazing, number one. And number two, in some sense, it will make our development, the whole experience, more robust, right? We now need to support these, thousands of people who are now building on DeSo. Now, if you had a question, you just ping Tian or Tijan on Discord or, Kanshi and get an answer. But for students, you need to have more robust talks. So I think that's overall a great, a great step forward to make development more mature on DeSo. I'm super excited.
Yeah, I know Nader wrote a blog post about it yesterday, and he pointed out that many of the current social media platforms were created by college students. And of course, Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg, and that actually targeted universities. But Snapchat was a college student. And I think that that's the group that has the brightest ideas about the future. So I love it. And I think we're going to see a lot of innovation within the space from them.
Yeah. And I think one more thing that just occurred to me while you were talking, Brian, is I've been out of college for a while, right? Like the people that
like 2 years, right?
Sure. So we've been out of college. I think college community is one area that's super tightly knit, right? Things diffuse within college campuses very quickly. So if these students build something just for their campus, just for their, demographic, right? The college student demographic, I think that's an untapped opportunity. I don't think DeSo has made into colleges. It's very interesting. We have a lot of young developers like Hunter Paulson, it's Aditya, who are amazing. And then we have people who've been out of college, but I don't see too many college students right now in DeSo. So I think that gives us another foot in the door for this demographic.
That's a good point, because there's tiny niche markets. Maybe it's only going to appeal to 15,000 students, a new node, but that's
Yep.
15,000 students that are going to explore other nodes as well. And if you
Definitely.
have enough of those little niche markets that come on, I think that could be powerful.
Yeah. Yeah. Now you
Or
can rate
even
your
like,
professor.
let's say a developer, a group of college students that go to, let's say, Rutgers University, since that's
Yeah.
where me and Brian went to college, decide, let's create our own social network for Rutgers. And we can do it on the blockchain, and we can do it on DeSo, and only pull posts that are posted from this node, or, node posts that talk about college life. So I think there's a lot of opportunity. And I think college students, I think they understand crypto more than most of the
Yeah.
older generations.
Yeah. And now you can rate your professor on chain and give diamonds for a good lecture.
There you go. Exactly. There's an conflict of $1 million idea.
There you go. Yeah.
I'll give you 5 diamonds if you give me an A.
Done.
So also yesterday, the DAO fork was announced, and this actually surprised me a lot, how quickly they're moving to fork DeSo and particularly this DAO fork, and that's going to include DAO coins, NFTs, version 2, which is going to be buy it now, and coin splits, messaging version 2, which is going to include group chats and more. There's going to be spending limits, likely for derived keys, I assume, and more. There's more coming that they haven't told us yet, I guess. But this is all taking place over the course of the next few weeks.
Yeah.
January 14th, the release candidate is going to be cut. January 17th, the final release is cut, and nodes are going to upgrade to this latest version. Then January 19th, 2 days later, the testnet hard fork is going to be triggered. And then 5 days later, on January 24th, the mainnet hard fork triggers. So, I mean, they're moving quickly on this. Yeah. Do you have any thoughts about the hard fork?
Yeah. Yeah, I think they're moving quickly. And I think that's been one of the, USPs of DeSo, right? Like from launching on March 1st to now, it's already been on Coinbase. We've had a bunch of users. We've had our highs, our lows, launch NFTs, create a coin. So I think the core team moves really quickly. I think we know that. And I'm sure they're doing a great job with the technology. The only thing I would want to be careful of is what are the economic implications of a DAO coin, right? And I think they are hard to determine in a few days or even a few weeks.
Yeah.
We've seen that happen with Create a Coin, right? The Create a Coin, how founder reward was paid, right? In the coins before, then in DeSo, right? Because of reasons. So I'm sure you can always, continue refining and making protocol changes. I'm just curious to see, right? Like maybe there is a world where the DAO coins run in testnet, and we not only the technology, it's not only about the technology. This has a huge economic implication on creators and the future of creator economy, that we run this in testnet a little bit more, see what implications it has before rolling it out to the wider public. That would be just one of the thoughts. But I'm not so sure, like how long have they been, running simulations to see what it means to own a DAO coin.
So running it in testnet, what does that mean exactly?
I think testnet would basically, if I understand this right, would be, it's not open for public consumption. It is on a chain, but that chain doesn't matter, right? Like it's you're just testing it. It's a test environment. You can buy, sell coins, no real economic activities associated with it. That's what I would think. It's a testnet. So go ahead.
I kind of feel like we need like a DeSo test node that the community can use, like, and test stuff out before it goes live. Like if we could test it out as a community and provide feedback before it actually goes live on the real nodes and goes live to anybody else who wants to implement it. Wouldn't it be cool if there's like a game version of DeSo where you could test out certain features?
Exactly. I think that would be amazing. You can roll back blocks. And yeah, I think one of the things, again, right, like we spend a ton of time making sure that our clicks work and the APIs work, which is important. But I think that's a little bit Web 2, right? Web 3 mixes crypto in it, mixes economic money native features in it. And I think we need to, I don't even think the whole world knows how to do this, right? But I think when we are testing, I think there needs to be a framework which also, includes that economic testing part of it. And I think until we have a tight framework, it just will take time. So I agree with you. I think testnet would be hugely helpful for feedback, protocol changes, but also for projects to implement changes and keep up with the updates.
Yeah, exactly. And so also yesterday, Zordan had an announcement. Do you want to touch on that, Brian? Yeah, so Zordan just made a post. It was yesterday afternoon, and he announced that Diamond's now using its own independent global state. So I wasn't exactly sure what that meant. We reached out to Martijn. We also asked Salil a little bit about this beforehand. He didn't really want to weigh in because it's kind of up in the air, but Martijn thought that it meant that verification, contact info, and blacklist data was no longer connected to bitclout.com. So I think it kind of is pushing Diamond to a more independent state. They're on their own now. So like Zordan's in charge. It's away from the old past of bitclout.com. And obviously, I know they're working on a lot of new features as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so technically DiamondApp could have their own verification program. And while everybody that's verified on BitClout now is verified on DiamondApp as well, from this point forward, they kind of split and fork, I guess you could say. Yeah, at least that's what we assume. Nothing's 100% guaranteed. If I'm not right, you can blame Martijn and Van Halen. Just send him some nasty messages on DeSo.
Just the NFTC co-founders, right?
Yeah. So also today is a big town hall with Nader at 1 p.m. Eastern time on the DeSo Foundation Discord. Brian, you want to touch on that a little bit? So Conchi and Sandy Rose are going to be asking questions that the DeSo community submitted. There's a lot of good questions. I know. I'm really looking forward to seeing how Nader answers some of them. I know he deals with criticism and skepticism pretty well, and he usually has an answer for most things. Are you going to be attending, Salil?
Oh yeah, 100%. I'll be online. Yeah.
And there's going to be questions about DAOs, marketing plans, referrals, I'm sure. So I think if you're interested in the future of DeSo, I think this is like an hour that you can't miss. Yeah. It's at 1 p.m. Eastern time in Discord, in the DeSo Foundation Discord. We're definitely going to be there. Yeah, we're excited about it. And finally, before we get to today's huge news of OpenProsper launching, at 11 a.m. Eastern time, there is a Clubhouse room, ladies on the mic with DeSo Chats, Miss Katie Ann and Michelle Lord. It's a weekly room that they have where ladies get a chance to just be up on stage by themselves for about an hour and talk about what they want to talk. And then they invite the gentlemen up to take part in the conversation. It's a fun room. You learn a lot. You learn about the community. Definitely take part in that if you can. And I think they're going to be giving away an NFT or two too. So yeah, I think they do that every single week. They give away some NFTs. So definitely check that out if you want to take part in the community and maybe win some NFTs. Right. So Salil, OpenProsper, it's launching today. It actually has launched. If you're watching this video, you can actually go to openprosper.com and check out all the new layout, all the new statistics. I was there for probably about half an hour this morning, just browsing around everything. Great stats. You also have a block explorer, which is awesome. Like I haven't seen that elsewhere. Maybe I'm wrong, but incredible information. So tell us about it.
Thank you. So I think two big parts to it, right? Let's talk about the product, and then we'll talk about what it means for the coins that ProsperClout coin we have. So completely reworked product, if you will, or the project, if you will. So ProsperClout launched last year around mid-May, and that was put together in 3 or 4 weeks. So over the time, there's a ton of learning. Things have become more mature. So we needed to rework the backend, right, for it to scale. So that's one. The backend is completely reworked. And the number two is there are 3 pieces for end users to use, right? So one is the profile, right? So you can go to any profile. You can go to Krasenstein profile. You can go to Dharmesh profile, Nader profile, like different profile, your own profile, and see several different stats about your profile. Coin stats, NFT stats, some other social stats. So you can see all those stats. So that's number one. Number two is the block explorer. So we've had a few different block explorers and they've done the job. My attempt here was to make it a little bit more user-friendly, a little bit more accessible and enrich the data. So most data that you see is like, okay, this public key transacted with this public key, but that public key is a user and the other public key is also a user. So start seeing which users are transacting. So now you can see things like that, bring in their profile picture. So make it a bit more, user friendly. So that's the new block explorer. And then the last piece that I'm very excited about launching is advanced search. So this is almost like a stock scanner, right? You can set a few different parameters. You can say, show me all the creators who've been active in the last 24 hours. And overall, they have more than 1,000 followers and their founder reward is less than 10%. Coin price is less than 50 and things like that. And we will show you basically different accounts that meet that criteria. And you can also sort them, right? Oh, this is the criteria, and now sort them by the accounts that have received the most diamonds. So this is a way to start unearthing, undervalued coins, I would say, on the DeSo platform. So I think that's very exciting.
How do you access, I don't mean to interrupt, but how do you access that advanced search? Because that sounds amazing. I want to check it out.
Oh yeah, so advanced search right on top on the nav bar, there is advanced search option. Okay, cool. You literally, it's right on top. So when you go to the landing page, same simple landing page where you'll have a search bar and you have top active creators and then 2 other stats, right? Within the last 24 hours, how many new accounts were created, how many accounts have been active and so on. And then below that, you will see which nodes are actually contributing the most posts. So those are the stats right up on the homepage. And I think the reason I brought those up is they have been the big discussion points, right? Like how many people are joining. And you can even see 24 hours or the last 1 hour. You can say, oh, in the last 1 hour, we've had, I don't know, a slew of new users coming in. So you can start, looking at the data there. But then on top, you will see a few other areas to go to. One of them is the advanced search area.
Important information for sure. And like, I could think of probably 10 different ways you can use that kind of data to your advantage on DeSo. So like, I think that's definitely something that was needed.
Awesome. So that's one. That's the whole technology piece. The second piece is the coin. So if you're a ProsperClout coin holder, just the project will rename to OpenProsper. It's not a new project I'm kicking off. It's not a new bonding curve. Whatever you hold of ProsperClout seamlessly transitions to OpenProsper. We will wait for, let's say, a day or few days to rename, because people are just more used to seeing ProsperClout for announcements. And I want like announcements coming out of ProsperClout and not OpenProsper. So it will take a few days to just change, but no one needs to worry. There's no new curve starting. Your investment in ProsperClout coin is safe and just seamlessly migrates to OpenProsper. So that's the other big piece.
I noticed a lot of interesting NFT stats on there as well. I'm into NFTs, of course, running NFTZ, and you have some really crazy stats that are very, very interesting. Stuff I was telling you before the show that I found stuff on your site, stats that I never even thought I would have any interest in, but they're there. And I'm like, wow, you can actually see that information now.
Yeah, I think and you're right. I think there are 2 stats that I find interesting myself. Number one is the bidding success, right? Like how many bids do you place and how many bids do you win? And this could also be if you are a person who's selling an NFT, someone with a low bid success either is pulling out bids at the last moment. So you want to, make sure who are you awarding the NFT to or so on. And then second is your NFT bidding momentum or NFT sale momentum, which is how many NFTs have you put out and how many have been sold out. So that basically helps you find projects that have a high success rate and you want to own their NFT. So I think those are 2 interesting, plus other things like most expensive NFT sold and so on and so forth.
I found out this morning that I spent $15,600 on NFT so far. That was kind of shocking. I think, whoa.
And actually, this is an interesting discussion also. Some of the money you probably spent on Pixel Pirates and like other generative NFTs, which is not captured because those are basic transfers, right? Like the minting process was very different for those. So some of that data is just differently placed on the protocol. So you might have spent more than that, Brian.
Yeah, we're probably closer to like 20,000 then. Maybe it was Eddie. We share an account. I think he actually buys more. Yeah, but I also learned that we made quite a bit of money just being on DeSo, like through diamonds, through founder reward. I think we made like $17,000 through founder reward.
Oh,
which
wow.
was impressive. I didn't realize that. And I think it was like over 3,000 in diamonds and or 4,000 in diamonds. It's really cool what you can learn about your account and how much you're making on the platform.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, so I guess our founder award kind of makes up for our spending sprees on NFTs. So like, what can you tell us about the future of OpenProsper? Like, what do you have planned? And anything you can talk about? Like, where do you see the company headed?
Yeah, so I think and honestly, so a lot of the future roadmap will be built by community feedback, right? I'm super curious to see what people have to say today. Like what you see right now, I've built it based on feedback from so many people. Like people have been super amazing. Like Sandy has been on calls with me. I've spoken to you guys, like spoken with Tian, spoken with Mubs, like spoken so many people that provide feedback. But the two areas I'm super excited about is number one, do a little bit data-backed marketing. So for example, you can see what your gas fees is. You can see how old your account is, right? Start sharing that not only on DeSo, but let's start sharing that on Twitter and on other social media. So we've done 17,000 transactions and all it's cost me is $2, right? Very few chains can actually, few chains with utility can actually, say that, right? And we can. So I think enable people to start sharing their stats on other social media and also on DeSo. So I think that's one area. And I think the other area is just exploring. So I don't know what the implementation or what the introduction of Dogecoin means for DeSo yet, but I think that's going to be an interesting area to start looking at stats for. So I think those are the two near-term things I'm looking at. But again, right, if you're part of the DeSo community, of any feedback at all, would love to hear.
Yeah, like I think being able to see like different DAOs and how different DAOs are performing, that's going to be something you're going to be able to implement, and I'm sure plenty of people are going to love that. Even smart services, like you could track what smart services are being used the most. And I love how you credit the people who give you ideas for these stats, and you do so by having a little link to their profile. For example, Reed suggested the diamond calculator, where you can type in how many posts you make per week, and then you type in how many diamonds you expect to get per post, and then it tells you how much you're going to be making annually from receiving diamonds. And you have a little icon inspired by Reed up top. And I think you do the same with Sandy Rose and several others. I think that's awesome how you give credit to them. And I think that it's really a community built project.
Yeah. And honestly, this is an interesting point, right? On the homepage, right? Like literally on the homepage, like Mubs got on a call with me last Thursday night. I think I couldn't attend one of the meetings, and he's like, dude, people are curious to know which node is contributing the most. Can you put that stat here? I'm like, wow, I hadn't even thought about it. And he in fact walked me through saying, oh, extra data has this data and this. I'm like, dude, you know what? I wouldn't have built it and I wouldn't have known how to build it. So you were the one who walked me through. So his name is on the homepage saying, okay, this stat is actually inspired by Mubs.
Yeah, I
really
that.
is.
And it is a great feature. It's interesting to see.
Yeah, so I thanks for joining us. I'm going to be probably using OpenProsper every day. But if you ever want to come on the show and share new features, feel free to let us know. We love having you on.
Yeah, so was this your second or third time on the show?
Second time. Okay. Yeah, we spent a bunch of time in New York together. So yeah, not on video, but yeah.
In Miami. Didn't I meet you in Miami?
That's
and then
right.
We had lunch in New York.
That's right.
It was fun.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Well, thanks again. It was great having you on, and we'll talk to everyone tomorrow. And everybody be sure to check out OpenProsper.
Thank you.